Hello, and thank you for joining us for this presentation about applying to Oxford and Cambridge. Taking you through the application process. But before we get to that, I think you really need to ask yourself why you want to apply to these particular universities. It's always good to have done a bit of research, and if you haven't already, then I would really urge you to have a look on YouTube where you'll find lots of videos, especially from Cambridge University, which give you a proper insight into what it's like, the application process and actually being a student at the university. They have some really good day in the life videos which cover students from a whole range of different backgrounds, so you'll get a real insight. And there's also a series of short films made by a lady called Courtney Danielle, and she's really great. She's a black student and she talks you through what it was like for her to decide to go to that university, to apply, and to what it was actually like being a student there. Her videos are really engaging and they really do show you what Cambridge would be like if you were to go there. And equally, there are some really good videos about Oxford. So I really would encourage you to do your research before you get into the whole application process. So the application process. Basically, we're going to talk about choosing a course, choosing a college, and then have a look at some of the assessments you might need to do, thinking about the deadlines, interviews, and then what happens at the end of the process. Firstly, choosing a course. It's pretty important. If you've got this far, you've probably already thought about what course you want to do. What I would say is to think about what you enjoy. Don't necessarily do a course you think you've got to do to get a job in the future. A degree from Oxford or Cambridge is going to stand you in really good stead for whatever you want to do in the future. Some jobs do require a specific degree, and if you have already got an idea about what you want to do in the future, then make sure you're doing a degree that will help you get to that end point. It's good to look at how the course is taught. Oxford and Cambridge teach in a very unique way. They have small class seminars, they have tutor groups it's much more focused on you as a student and what you want to get out of it. Other universities teach in different ways. So Oxford and Cambridge, find out how they teach you. Think about, will that suit you as a student? And also really think about the content of the course. English, history, those courses are taught at most universities, but they will be different at every university. So make sure you do your research. You'll need to choose a college. Oxford and Cambridge run what's called a collegiate system. So this means that when you apply, you're applying to a particular college within the university. You're part of the university, but your college will provide your accommodation, pastoral support, academic support. The college will be where you will spend most of your time. You will have your small group lessons there, and then you'll join other people from other colleges for larger lectures. So you need to have a little look at the history of the college. What type of things are they specialising in? Have they got the kind of resources that you need, the accommodation that suits you? If you have any disability requirements, then you need to look into it very closely. You apply for a college, and that college will be the one that contacts you and invites you for interview. Then you need to check very carefully the assessment registration deadlines. All of the courses will have some kind of pre-assessment, and you will need to check the deadline for that to make sure that you've applied and you're ready to go. Otherwise, you might put in your UCAS application and it might not get anywhere because you haven't applied for the extra tests. So do make sure you spend the time. Look on UCAS or look on the university's own websites. The kind of tests you might need to do are thinking skills assessments, the BMAT, which is for medicine, and the LNAT, which is for law. And as I said, you can find this information on UCAS or on the university's own websites. Then we get to the UCAS application. This is where most people kind of start, but you will have already had to do some things before you get to the UCAS application. The other thing that is different if you're applying for Oxford and Cambridge is your deadline. Your application must be in by the 15th of October. This is an early deadline. Think about it. You're going to be going back to school in September, hopefully full-time, normal, like you have been doing. But you might have a staggered start. You might still be having to do some of your work from home. You need to be thinking that you're one of the first to apply. You need to be on the case. You need to be writing your personal statement as soon as possible. You can apply to Oxford or Cambridge. You can't apply to both. You can apply to other universities, so you could apply to Cambridge and 4 other universities, for example. You only write one personal statement that goes on your UCAS application and is sent to all of your choices on your behalf. Therefore, you shouldn't mention that you're applying to Oxford or Cambridge. It's just a generic application for the course you are interested in. The most important thing is that your passion for the subject comes across and that they understand why you want to study that subject. Your tutor will also need to provide a reference for you, and that might take them some time. So your tutor needs to be aware that you are applying for an early entry course and you need to give them enough time to check through your personal statement, check through your application and to add their reference. So you need to make sure that your application is ready well before the 15th of October. So you'll also need to complete some entry tests and assessments, which you will have already checked out. You will know when you need to apply and you will be ready and working for them. Prepare as much as you can. Try using the Oxplore website. It's a really good website to help you with your critical thinking skills. It asks big questions and you work your way through and you're kind of having a debate while you're going through. One thing I would say is to really be wary of websites that tell you they can get you into Oxford and Cambridge. And then as you go through, they want to charge you money for it. You do not need to pay anybody to help you get into Oxford or Cambridge. Unfortunately, there are some unscrupulous people out there who would like to take money off people who are desperate to get into these universities. If you are a good student and if you are really passionate about your subject, you will get into Oxford or Cambridge on your own merit. Please do not pay anybody online to help you get there. Interviews. Well, you are going to have an interview for Oxford or Cambridge. These interviews are not designed to trip you up. Again, if you look online, you'll see all these websites that tell you these kind of questions that you'll be asked. They're not always true. You can find YouTube official videos that show what a Cambridge or an Oxford University interview is like. They have done lots of work to help students. There are guides available on their own websites, and these will help you. What they're trying to see is that you're able to think about things. They'll give you a question or something to read, and then they'll ask your opinion about it. And what they want to see is that you are a student who can think about things. You've not just learned everything parrot fashion. You have a mind of your own and you're inquisitive and you're really interested in your subject. The most important thing really is to stay calm. They will send you lots of detailed information before the interview, so use all that, think about how you're going to get there, make sure that everything that you can control, you know, how you're going to get there, what you're going to wear, make sure you thought about all of those things so that you can keep calm and know that you've done all the preparation you need to do. In January, you'll get your decision. You need to remember that competition is fierce. There's usually about 6 people applying for one place at the college. If you don't receive an offer, then don't worry. Reflect on what you've done, what you've learned from the process, and you will have learned a lot. And then you can refocus your attention onto your other choices and make sure that you go to different open days and check out if you need to do any pre-assessments for any other universities. There is one sort of backup option that Cambridge and Oxford offer sometimes, where you will be put in the pool. And the pool is your chance to gain a place at a different college to the one you originally applied to. They do this because they would rather have a strong candidate that didn't quite make it into another college than a kind of weaker candidate that didn't get interviewed by any of the colleges. So you may be put in the pool, and so you may get a kind of second chance to get a place. Whatever happens, if you've gone through the whole process of applying to one of these universities, then you will have learnt something. You can find more information from us on our Take Your Place website. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can email me. Your teachers at school will have the details for me. We will be giving you access as well, if you want it, to an e-learning module all about applying to Oxford and Cambridge, which has been developed by our highly able coordinator based at Cambridge University. So if you would like some access to that, really get a good insight into the application process, then do get in touch. And whatever you decide to do, I wish you luck with your application. Thank you for listening.